By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. She'll find a note I left hanging on her door. She'll laugh when she reads the part that says I'm leaving, 'cause I've left that girl so many times before. She just didn't know I would really go. Well, Glenn Campbell's a guy running out on his girlfriend for the final time. Drove east through Phoenix and then on to Albuquerque in Oklahoma. And if he hadn't taken the interstate, he would have most likely driven through Phoenix and driven down the main street which bisects the city, huge city, and the main street is called Indian School Road. It's named after an Indian school which was established in the 19th century to educate Indian children, Native American children, in a way whereby they forgot their own culture and language, and they were brought up in the Anglo-Saxon tradition. And the school itself, the building itself, is still there. It's been restored. It's now part of a park. But I thought I'd drive down this road when I was in Arizona for the first time in 2004 in Phoenix, and take the road. And the road itself runs through perhaps some of the most expensive real estate in North America, in Scottsdale. In downtown Phoenix, and it's got high-end boutiques and jewellery shops and Ferrari car showrooms and so on and so forth. It absolutely drips money, and you just carry straight on driving down the road. But then the road, although the road doesn't peter out, all this glitz peters out, and you're suddenly into a Native American reservation right in the middle of Phoenix, and the contrast is extraordinary. So I photographed that, and then I drove back again and photographed a place in Scottsdale on the same road, maybe 10 miles difference, but the worlds were completely different. And here they are. There's Scottsdale, Arizona, with a fancy Japanese place there on the corner, and you can see one posh place on the left, and that road, it says Indian School Road there, Indian School, and the traffic light there. And then if we carry on down the same road, we come to this. Exactly the same road. There's a sign. And that reservation has now been completely engulfed by the city of Phoenix. In fact, it was there before the city of Phoenix started to expand. It's been there since about 1874. But it's never referred to on the map. It's as though it doesn't exist. They make money, a bit of money out of gambling, of course, as many of the reservations do in America now. But it's got a very low standard of living. But the contrast between the two and the road bisecting Phoenix is something to be seen, to be believed. And I made that piece of work. Anyway. occasionally I do pieces of work like the one I did in 2001 on the Western Front in France and Belgium, for Theatre of War I talked about last, where I actually got there and found, I call the thing Theatre of War to start with, the Theatre of War, and then I got there and found that there's an actual theatre where the British High Command ran the war from in northern France. Really was a theatre, so I incorporated that in the work. But this time I didn't do enough research, I just did this thing by chance, this piece of work, and of course after I'd made it, these two pieces of next to each other, because the road just carries on like that, next to each other, they go next to each other, you see, actually that way round, like that, one runs into the other. But then I found that the idea that the people there were completely surrounded and almost in this sort of like ghetto, that they have a great seal, the people of who live there, and it's a seal, it's a design that goes back before the white man arrived. These are the Pima Maricopa people. And the seal I should have incorporated in that work in the middle and thought about it again, because it's most interesting. You can see it's a man standing in front of a maze, and it says that there's no way out. These are the problems and challenges you face. And in the centre is the sign of the Enlightenment. But the question is, how do you reach it by a proper route? And that, of course, should have dictated the piece of work. It's too late for me to do it now. I don't like to go back and redo them. But it just shows that sometimes, you know, if you don't do your thinking, you don't do your research beforehand, you're kind of like half to the job. So I'm afraid Street in Phoenix, Arizona, 2004, it's okay, but it could have been better.